Tonight on an all-new Monsterland, Fact or Falcon Bigfoot edition. If the parapost is rockin', don't come a-knockin'. And Russ returns. Ronnie, you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Gimlin. Ooh, that was bad even for me. Let's go.
Welcome to a wicked mystery, a paranormal perfect storm known simply as Monsterland. The Monsterland Podcast is recorded live in an undisclosed location somewhere in the heart of high strangeness, just outside of Monsterland, Massachusetts. And now, here are your hosts, from Travel Channel's Expedition Bigfoot, author-researcher Ronnie LeBlanc, and from History's The Curse of Oak Island Drilling Down, actor-host Maddie Blake.
Good evening, Ronald.
Hello, Matthew.
Boy, we are making do. We're both home. I'm in the confines of Matty Road Studios. Yes, I have a giant poster, for those of you watching the video, of Ralph Macchio and Mr. Miyagi above my drum set. I am 12 years old.
Best movie.
I am pushing 50, 12 years old. 12-year-old intellect. And Ronald LeBlanc, of course, has the wonderful Expedition Bigfoot poster behind him.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Ronnie, we have quite a show tonight. We are going to Fact or Falcon Bigfoot edition, which is perfect because our guest is a Bigfoot guest. We'll get to that. We're going to parapost. We got a couple great stories in parapost. We've got a Monster Media tonight. We haven't done Monster Media in a while. We're going to follow up on The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, that fantastic new show. We had Kevin Burns and Joe Lessard on a couple weeks ago talking about that. Last night, as we record this, last night's episode was incredible. And some great UFO footage in last night's episode, Ronnie. I want to talk about that, and we'll play the audio from it. I think I have a monster voicemail left over. And so we got a lot to get to. But let's dive into our guest. There was a little controversy, Ronnie. As happens every once in a while, somebody, I guess, posted something that they've got information about the Patterson-Gimlin film. And this happens every once in a while, right? Yeah. Someone makes a claim with no evidence and just says, oh, this is the truth of what happened. So our guest, Russ Acord, your buddy from Expedition Bigfoot, who's calling in any second, he posted a thing saying, I stand with Bob, obviously. And you and I posted a picture saying, we stand with Bob. So we just want to have Russ on to kind of get his perspective on what the heck this was.
Yeah, and you're hearing the words, a massacre. And
yeah, so what did someone said that they knew that Patterson-Gimlin massacred a Bigfoot family or something preposterous?
So from the footage, basically there looks like from people know M.K. Davis, Thinker Thunker, apparently recoloring the original Patterson-Gimlin footage and the water making it look like blood. So Russ is going to jump in now. We'll talk to him about it.
Oh,
there he is.
He's connecting to audio. Oh my goodness. We're standing by for Russ Acord, our guest.
My father.
Oh, there you are. How's it going?
Yes.
You look good.
Oh, you guys look great. Ronnie, you need a hat. You're not matching up. Look at that backdrop, though. Look at he's got the, see? Work on this one.
Mariah, Brycey.
How you doing, Russ?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you.
You too, man. Well, first of all, let's just do a health check. You and your loved ones, everyone's okay? Everyone's safe?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, we're doing good. We're doing good. The self-quarantine was kind of I got a lot of my chores done that I've been putting off forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I was doing yard work today. My wife goes, what is wrong with you? I work very hard. So I'm like clearing brush. I'm like, where she's like, will you slow down? It doesn't have to get done in 2 days. I'm like, yes, it does.
It does now.
Russ, you know what's funny too? I was thinking, I kind of had like a little fantasy in my head.
Whoa,
Let me rephrase.
Just okay, please.
Let me rephrase.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I was imagining, as my imagination tends to run wild, if this really goes off grid, if this whole thing, if society fully collapses,
Oh yeah.
I'm packing my family up and I'm making my way to you because I know you're one of those guys that can teach me how to hunt, survive, make fires, make shelter. So I'm coming to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know how to make trouble too if I have to.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Oh, well, it's great to see you. How was you were on Tom Green's podcast, we heard. How was that?
Yeah, just yesterday.
Well, it was nothing like this one. I mean, Tom Green really has it together.
He has a career.
Yeah.
No, he was actually a lot of fun. He's very personable. I don't know if you had time to actually listen to that interview, but he was just down there.
Not yet.
Just quick going, and a huge Bigfoot fan, which was really kind of
Really?
cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's in my experience, like it's guys who, you know, kind of like pretend they make a career off doing ridiculous things, with rare exception, like as he did. You know, he kind of played a dumb guy, if you will.
Right.
That takes a lot of cunning and intelligence, right? You know, he's playing the part.
Dude.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like me, I'm just dumb and dumb. So I'm pretending to be dumb, but I actually am.
I thought you were just staying in character. Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Russ, you know, we want to talk about everything that's going on with you.
Okay.
But we wanted to start with this little bit of controversy. I guess someone posted something. I'll let you talk about it as you want. Tell us what happened and what your perspective is on this whole Bigfoot thing.
I could spend the next 2 hours just degrading and that kind of thing. And it's what it does. It takes me to a level of, you know, at their eyesight, and I'm not going to do that. Basically, quite a few years ago, many years ago, an individual, and I'm not going to use names because everybody's going to know who we're talking about anyway.
Okay.
And I'm not going to dignify them by using their name. So quite a few years ago, some old guy in a basement with a computer decided he was going to start playing with the colors and enhancing and looking, you know, trying to see if he could see something more in every single frame of the Patterson-Gimlin film. And he started, I don't know if it was just lack of oxygen in the basement. I don't know if it was over imagination. I don't know if it was just downright intellectual deficiency. I'm not quite sure. But he started coming across his own theories and came up with this wild story that there was a massacre before the Patterson-Gimlin film happened. He came up with a narrative that suited him, and he was able to get a lot of attention on the internet by using these stories. And the sad thing is people that cannot think freely for themselves are buying into this.
Yeah, they're jumping on the bandwagon.
Right. So people can buy into anything you want to. If you want to buy into unicorns in my backyard, cool. I'll say it all day long. We both know that I'm full of crap when I say that. The problem is a lot of people are not doing their due diligence and doing their own research to find out whether it's real or not. That's where it becomes dangerous. So it becomes fanatic religion almost for some of these people. They feel that they have to defend this guy in the basement. They have to feel that without being a free thinker, they have to think that they're going to take his word as gospel. Okay, so we're talking about a guy who wasn't there in 1967, who wasn't on the ground directly after the filming. He was no part of this theory that he has, but he's going to sit in his basement and say, well, according to what I'm seeing on these pixels, once I put color to them, I can make that look like blood. So there's got to be blood all over the place.
And I'll say this, that there's two reasons why you're able to speak to this. And one is, you know Bob, you represent Bob, you've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
But two, you have your hands on an original copy of the Patterson-Gimlin footage. So you know what this looks like, as opposed to someone else that is manipulating the video, the coloring to make it, like you said, matching up with the narrative of this bloody massacre, which So the water has been turned into a blood red. Is that right?
Almost a red, yeah, just kind of a rusty red. There was, with old 16 millimeter film, you're going to have discrepancies and scratches and everything else in film. He does not have a first generation copy like I do. Mine is actually from Renee Duhinden, who actually copied it on 16 millimeter film from the original. So you're getting the best look at the actual coloring. And if you just base it on looking at an old Western TV show, you can tell that green is green, blue is blue, black is black, orange is orange.
Right.
But when you start changing colors and straight up adding shadows, from the original that I had, just one single frame that I took, we did a side-by-side comparison, and the color variance is vastly different to the narrative one. There's a shadow that was added that was not on the original. So there in itself, even if he had a good story, that kind of crap doesn't stand in court simply due to the fact that it has been trifled with. I could put a gun in Michael Jackson's hand and say he murdered somebody if I did it, with the Photoshop.
Why the shadows? Like, what's your thoughts on why the hell?
It was just too much color. And on the portion, okay, if you go on I Stand With Bob Facebook page, there's two pictures. One is the original, one is the one that was trifled with. You'll see on the lower left-hand corner, there's a triangular shaped shadow. Maybe it was just too much to show that it was literally water rippling over rocks, and it just looked too obvious.
Russ, you can totally tell, like, as a neophyte, I'm not a video editor or anything, it's clearly water. Like, it's just like, you can tell it's a brook in your photo, like the regular still, it's a brook, it's a babbling brook, or it's water, it's clear.
Yeah. So, and if this happened days after a massacre, how long does it take for water to clear out when it's got that much volume running through it?
Right.
60 seconds or less, or just or maybe longer, who knows, but it's not going to sit there. It's
color is going to dilute with the water. You're right.
Yeah, it's absurd. But what comes with it is this guy who acts like he's vulnerable and sweet, and he's very concerned, and he's, I'm really concerned about Patty. I'm really concerned, and I'm so upset, and hey guys, it's me again. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the Patty Gimlin film, and I'm thinking, okay, he's getting followers that buy it, number one. Number two, if you want to tell a BS story, cool, tell your BS story until it hurts other people, until it affects other people. So then he's got other people that are jumping on the bandwagon because it's got so much attention. Mind you, this is all for clicks on an internet site. I went from 500 clicks to 15,000 clicks because I backed this lie.
Yeah.
Really. But the problem is with this lie or this BS story, it's hurting people. Yeah. I actually have been running Bob Gimlin's Facebook page for him. And every time somebody sends in a message, I get on the phone with him. Hey, so-and-so said, hey, Bob, I want to know if I could get a signed copy or whatever. And I asked Bob, how do you want to proceed? And he'll say, yeah, let's go ahead and send him a picture, or let's do this, that, that sort of thing. Bob doesn't play on the internet that much. When I get him here, we go through them one by one line items, and it's a lot of fun. It's good quality time with Bob. But what I've seen is people getting online and threatening Bob. If I ever see you at a conference, blah, blah, blah. How does it feel to be a murderer? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, the things that are saying to this guy. So let's backtrack.
Yeah.
Patterson Gimlin film comes out. There was years and years and years. It's not real. It's not even a real Bigfoot. So that argument was years long. Right. And now, not only can they're still arguing whether it's real or not. Now we have this whole Bluff Creek massacre thing coming in, where apparently these Bigfoot that have remained elusive and we can't find, there's a bunch of them that were shot and killed.
Yeah.
And this latest one that this basement dweller said was that
hey, take it easy on old men in their basement, Russ.
Yeah.
I give you Exhibit A.
This is my office.
This
Okay?
is my office.
I was just saying to Ronnie in the intro of the show, I've got Christmas lights, Ralph Macchio, a drum set. I'm like a 12-year-old boy in a man's body.
Yeah,
Oh, and my Bigfoot UFO T-shirt. Someone stop me. Send help.
yeah. Blink twice if you're being held hostage. Well, this whole thing, I don't, realistically, if you want to get out there in front of everybody and tell a BS story, who cares? Yeah. Basically, people will figure out that you're full of crap. But the thing is, this guy got steam, and he got likes and clicks and everything else. And then these other weak-minded people jump on the bandwagon. So let's go on to those guys.
Right.
So we have this guy who's hoaxing by way of Photoshop. Then you have a guy that used to be I don't know if I'm going to even say he ever was, used to be credible researcher that does research, and he wrote a book or two, and he talks about, lost people missing kind of thing. Still not going to mention his name either.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just not worth it.
Okay.
But let's just say goes side and side with arrogance. But his ego jumps on the bandwagon and thinks, hey, man, I can get some notoriety here. Maybe sell some more books by carrying this lie a little further. So he goes and jumps on the bandwagon and starts kind of backing this BS with, especially for somebody as an investigator or with his alleged background.
Right.
Where's your evidence? Are you going to accuse somebody with zero evidence and if your best evidence is this, I heard from a credible person, or I saw this basement dweller's colored picture, so I've decided I'm going to buy that. Good for you. Believe the story if you want to, but don't discredit the people that are living and deceased. So he jumps on the bandwagon because he thinks he's got credibility. Okay, so that being said, he was able to take his credibility and flush it down the toilet. You have another researcher who has done interviews, and I know he did one for you guys. I think he did one with you guys.
He did. Yeah.
But
he was on the show?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is pre this, so.
Yeah, this is pre. And he actually met Bob Gimlin at the conference, the last conference we were at, shook his hand, acted like his biggest fan.
Weren't we all at that conference together?
That's the very same conference, yeah.
Ohio.
And then months later, he decides, gosh, I haven't sold any books in a while. People aren't noticing me. Maybe I need some attention. So he jumps on the wagon. And he's now he's just repeating everything. In the middle of all this, there comes a female that this woman was, she actually was Bob's friend, biggest fan for a couple of years, and then she started watching these basement films, started questioning it, and I'm thinking, please be strong enough to see through that crap. So she started questioning it, and then she started getting obsessed with it and just watching this video after video after video. She actually called Bob and said, hey, Bob, is there any truth to this? And Bob says, no, that's horse crap. Just the guy is Looney Tunes. Just, he's got nothing. I would love for them to show me what they have for evidence, because none of it is real. And he laughed about it. So she called him a couple more times, and finally the last phone call they had, which I had this conversation with Bob just the other night. He said, yeah, she was starting to get a little bit weird about it, obsessive about it. And she became one of the believers in the messed up film and the stories. And then she got to the point where she honestly believed what this guy was saying. And then she called Bob and asked him, I heard you murdered these things. And Bob said, not a single shot was fired. How could I? Are you kidding? That's crazy. And she said, and you shot Patty in the back when she tried to walk away. And Bob says, no, that's not true. And he actually was trying to tell her that's not true. I don't have time to explain myself. I shouldn't have to defend myself against something that's not true. and she ended up screaming at him, and he literally hung up the phone. He said, I don't know what happened. It was like a light switch clicked. And he said she came across as my best friend for a couple of years and then just dropped out of sight mentally. It was very odd. So with the female involved, a few of these people are jumping on the bandwagon saying, well, she was bullied to not say anything. She was told she couldn't say anything. She was, but this was her narrative. This is what she was saying. I could say that Maddie is bullying me. I could say that Maddie is threatening me. Does it make it true just because I spoke those words? Am I more credible than Maddie? It's just words, because I have no proof. I have no audio recording. I have no video of Maddie standing over me, ready to thump me. Right. So it's just he said, she said. So then you got this Canadian stand-up comic that jumps on the wagon because he's a joke. You haven't heard about this guy?
No.
There's a YouTube guy has a YouTube channel in Canada, and you guys can do the research. I'm not going to say his name either.
All right, I'm looking right now.
Yeah, but he has a YouTube channel, pretty successful, quite a bit of followers, and then he jumps on the bandwagon, and with his huge following, he starts putting out this BS as if he ever knew this woman. He acts like he's defending her and defending her honor. Not one photograph of the two of them together, so how could he say he even knew her? He said, well, I have this letter that was written to somebody, and I'm going to read it to you. So he reads it off as if he really gives a damn about anybody except for himself. And the clicks went crazy. All the people that are Bigfoot related are going to jump on this bandwagon and just out of curiosity say, well, wow, what's this? What's, out of curiosity. So he got clicks like crazy, and then he had a lot of people just dropping off because they said, you've kind of gone too far with this, because this is totally BS. I was trying to be calm about the whole thing. I'm watching it. I'm talking with Bob, and I'm not reading Bob all of the messenger comments that are coming across the internet, because
right.
I'm telling you, they were quite hurtful and quite
protecting
disgusting.
him from some of that stuff, or the worst of it.
Yeah.
So you've got a guy that's 88 years old, and you've got this comedian from Canada telling people, I don't care who they are, go after them. Don't let people get away with it. Confront them. And he's encouraging this aggressive behavior. And then when he gets on the internet with his other person that we all met, he gets on there, and then he gets really, really vulgar and, threatening people out of kick, you're nothing, I'll come kick your ass kind of thing. And I'm thinking, that's when the guy has lost.
Right.
When the guy has to threaten to kick your ass, then that means he's got no other resource but sheer caveman stupidity.
I'm going to fight you over Bigfoot, 50-year-old Bigfoot video.
I know you're somewhere down in the U.S. and I'm way up here in Canada, and I'm tough because I've got a keyboard and I can say these things.
Yeah.
By the way, do they know your background, Russ?
No, they do not.
They do not, because they wouldn't say that if they did.
Yeah.
Well, nobody. He hasn't said that to me.
Right.
I see him saying that to other people.
Right.
And the thing is and this has. Let's separate here for a second.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, I had a guy that was threatening me on the internet. Told me he was going to come kick my butt. And and it was hard not to laugh, but I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I said, if I so much as give you a hard look in a public place, you'll scream like a little snowflake and sue me because I hurt your little fragile feelings. But I'll tell you what, if you are so inclined to come kick my ass, I actually have a buddy of mine in Spokane, Washington, who has an MMA ring. You have to sign a waiver. You have to sign the waiver that says whatever happens in the ring, you're accepting that. I said, look, here's his contact information. You tell him whatever date works for you. I'll be there. I live close enough. I can come on up. I said, but if you are so inclined to kick my ass, cool.
Let me guess. He showed up.
Give me give me whatever notice you need. I don't care, but give me the opportunity to get my ass kicked because you're clearly a badass and I have it coming.
Unbelievable.
But when people, and I'm watching this guy in Canada threaten other people on the internet, and I'm thinking, when you threaten people like that, you have to be quite cautious because I'm more of a sound mind. If somebody wants to go around with me, I'm going to do it legally and get in a ring after signing a waiver. I'll do that any day. I don't care. But what happens is not everybody's that stable, and you threaten a guy, he's going to show up where you're at, and he's going to thump you and give you a lesson. I don't operate that way.
Right.
I have to do it correctly, legally, dignified. But I know that some of the people that he is threatening are, if they get the opportunity, he's got a surprise coming. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. It's also, what's sad, why Ronnie and I wanted to have you on, Russ, is that when we met Bob and spent the weekend with him, thanks to you and your generosity, we grew to love the guy. And, we were so, in the interview, when we interviewed him, he talked about how he stepped away from the whole Bigfoot thing because he was criticized. As you said at the beginning, people thought the whole thing was fake. He said, then he went to that one thing with you and he got a standing O. And he said, that changed my whole perspective on it. And he finally comes back into the Bigfoot community, as it were. And then someone does this at 88 years old. To think that he's hurting in any way really hurt Ronnie and I. And we wanted to have you on to talk about it. I would ask people who have just rational people, I would just ask you this. What is more probable? That Patterson Gimlin got a few seconds of a Bigfoot walking by and were able to film it for a second, or that there was a massacre and they killed a family of Bigfoot and hid it and covered it up and dragged the bodies out, or who knows what they did with the body. I mean, really, just use your heads. What is more likely to have happened, right?
Right. Let me backtrack you just for a second, because I know that this is, and I don't mind if you keep this in this cut. I don't mind if you keep this in there. It was not me that took him to his first thing, brought him out of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was someone. He actually was invited by Renee Duhendon and a bunch of others to show up at this conference.
Oh, yes.
They asked him to come to Russia, and he said no. They came here. They had a conference, and it was a chance for him to actually be recognized in a very positive light. So I had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
That was,
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I've come into it years after that. He's just. But I think at 88 years old. Okay, who threatens an 88-year-old man?
So pathetic.
Think about the caliber of person who would do that.
Right.
So,
and you, Ronnie, we've played things on this show all the time, in our Factor Falcon and things like. You can make anything look very real,
right?
On the internet with enough tricks. And by the way, what you posted, Russ, didn't look that real anyway. So it's just sad that it's happening, and we're thankful that you got a chance to come on this platform and say your piece.
And I'm glad he has someone like you to, say protect, but yeah, you are a protector. That's how you are. Like from getting to know you, you're one of these people that I would take a bullet. You take a bullet for me. You're just one of these type of people. And I'm glad that he has you in his corner, because this is something that can damage somebody and, just kind of really throw him off his quest, his goal. So I'm glad.
Yeah, Russ, how are his spirits? Like you said, you're protecting him from a lot of this. What's his general, like, I hope he's not hesitating on doing stuff, conferences and things moving forward because of this.
Sadly, it's crossing his mind.
Shit.
He's at the point where, you get enough negative attention. He's 88 years old. And that's why I got involved. I wanted to see him get the last of his years, whatever we got left with Bob Gimlin. I wanted him to be dignified and be treated with a little bit of respect and have his time in the light. And what happens is when people get caught up in somebody else's bullcrap. Let's talk about this massacre just for a second. Allegedly, there was a massacre and all these things were killed. A logging company or somebody, it's so many different variations. So let's just say somebody called in special people from the Canadian government to come down and massacre these Bigfoot because they were a problem to either a project they wanted to do, whether it's a logging company or a bunch, who knows. Anyway, it's just that piece of it alone.
Yeah.
We're in the US, and since we can't handle our own stuff, we're going to have the Canadian government come down and take care of a problem. First off, let's get those weapons across the border first.
Yes.
Okay, let's give that a try. Secondly, if you think that the U.S. government or anybody in the U.S. would withstand the pressure of allowing another government to come in and annihilate something that we had so little information on at the time, well, you got another thing coming. It just doesn't happen that way. We have something that very few people knew about, and suddenly they're a problem, they're a nuisance, and we have to kill them all?
Right.
Highly unlikely. But, okay, so let's go with that. They said that these government officials were professionals in tracking and killing Bigfoot. Where do you get a team like that?
Yeah, where's the Bigfoot killer? Yeah, I mean, it's strange. It's silly. It just sounds
The
silly.
Dirty Dozen.
And even if you do, look, these things are fun to, talk about in a vacuum. Let's take the nastiness out of it. It's fun to, come up with alternate theories of the Zapruder film, for example, and make up things and talk about it. But even if you are interested in this theory, like, you can do it kindly. You can research, you can do your due diligence, as you said, Russ. You can be interested in it and ask questions. This whole like attack thing, you murderer, it's so angering because it's just not right for the nice. Anyone who's on that train, I would just, if you're watching this or listening to this and you've never met Bob Gimlin, shame on you, because he is the nicest guy, and Ronnie, you asked him even at one point during our interview, like, would you have shot him? And you could see, would you have shot Patty if you felt threatened? And you could see him really struggle with that. Like, this isn't a guy who would massacre. It's just not him. And shame on those people who are saying those things to him. Shame on you.
Yeah. Well, let's pretend for a second that these Canadian government assassins came in and annihilated these 5 Bigfoot that were a menace to society.
Yeah.
And they, as Patty was walking away, she was shot in the back. Does that not sound okay? So we're so far outstretched, but
sounds like an episode of The Wire.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody's fantasy island gone wrong.
It's just crazy. It sounds like one of your books, like something you write in a book.
Oh, come on.
No, not one of yours. Not one of yours.
Mine. So you got this thing that plays out, and then they allow the Patterson-Gimlin film to be viewed. Okay, as soon as
that's
those
the other
guys
thing.
hit Yakima, hey, we were in Bluff Creek, on this creek bottom, and we're going to go down and do some, there's still footprints down there, we got to cover them. Do you know how many people descended on Bluff Creek to get footprints and look for evidence and everything else? Yeah. If you had just buried 5 bodies or whatever they say, collected trophies, DNA, there's going to be so much evidence left behind, literally. Why would you draw attention to your own crime scene?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but this is the mind of a basement dweller. So I'm not buying it. I'm sorry.
It spreads like wildfire on Facebook and these other groups that it's, oh, there's a massacre. How shit. Like you said, people just instantly, they're bored right now and they're commenting on anything they can.
Russ, what can people do? What can people do to express their support for Bob or get message to him? I don't know. Is there a site or something people can do to send him love right now?
Yeah, there's a Facebook page called I Stand With Bob. And what they're doing is people are sending in the pictures of when they met Bob, and they write down there, I stand with Bob. And I'm telling you, it's got a lot of steam. There's a lot of people involved in that.
Good.
Craig Woolheater and Shelley Covington, Montana are running that site, and it's about positivity. It's about good stuff.
That's awesome.
And the funny thing is you don't see people making a site and posting all over the place, I stand with the guy in the basement. That just sounds creepy.
Yeah.
Or I stand with the comedian in Canada. Classless act. Nobody's doing that either. And I'm telling you, the other guy, the researcher, the one that wrote the books about missing people, he didn't like people getting pictures with him. So nobody's standing with that guy either.
Ronnie, text me those two names right now. Text me. I don't want.
You know who that last one is.
I want to know the comedian, and I want to know the. Text me.
The other one is
because I might know the comedian. Actually, you know what I mean. I know some Canadian comedians.
Well, comedian, I don't know, but
well, actually, the thing is, let's. I'm going to clarify. I call him the Canadian stand-up comic because he's a joke. But the thing is he's actually he does hunting guides or does videos on how to hunt. The thing is with this guy is I have my own. Yeah. I have my own. My dad was
really him. Aw.
Yeah.
I dug what he was doing.
Start watching his stuff, and then you can make a reassessment. It's okay.
Well, the one on our show I'm bummed about because I dug talking to him, and I dug what he had come up with. You know, some of the things he had shot. Came up with. Evidence-wise, was I thought pretty compelling, and that's too bad. That's too bad that he's been sucked down this elite Bigfoot government assassin squad. I hope they're. I mean,
hey, I see a movie script starring Jack
Russ,
Black.
in your military time, how many times you sent on a top secret mission to kill Bigfoot?
Let me get my calculator here.
Wait a second. You don't want to give that up. It's top secret. I'm sorry. I put you in a bad position.
I got to look at my trophy room and see how many mounts I have. Here's the thing. I do want to say this. There's an individual in Canada that does this, teaches people this hunting BS. Here's my problem with that. My dad was an outfitter in Montana, and for 6 years I got to work with him during every hunting season, and he would bring people from back east to go up and do hunting. And the first thing he would ask before he would even let them come out to Montana is, why do you want to get an elk? And unless he heard the right things, he would say, you have the wrong number, I want nothing to do with you. Because the guys would say, well, I have a family of 6 and I need to feed my family. Okay, good, you're welcome here. But then if you get this jackwagon that goes on there and says, well, I want to get the one with the biggest horns and I want to put fill up my trophy room, and I don't care what you do with the meat, you can just throw that out. That, my friends, I have no use for people like that.
Yeah.
So you get people that hunt for sport, hunt for a trophy in the room. So how manly is that? Okay, you go out in the forest, you stalk things that leave a track. Right. You're hunting with a weapon that you can shoot from several hundred yards away. You're fairly safe, tough guy. So you're hunting something just for the skin on its back and the antlers on its head. You're talking about a majestic creature or something that the wildlife has taken care of long before humans ever came along.
Right.
So to endorse and to go out and promote, hey, come bag the big game. I don't care if you want the meat or not. We'll get your trophy. Or killing simply for sport. If you want to be, if you're that guy, if you want to prove a little bit of manhood, enlist in the military. Hunt something that can hunt you back.
No, I love it. Russ.
Okay? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the whole tough guy thing, you don't have to fight everybody you don't get along with online either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's our message. It's so silly. It's so juvenile. And like I said, even if you are interested in alternate theories and fun, be kind, be nice. Don't be an idiot. Don't be stupid. Russ, Expedition Bigfoot. Have you heard anything? Where do we stand? Ronnie, Russ, are we coming back?
Listen, all I know is this. I took our image, which is behind us right here, and I just put a little fire behind it, and I posted it. And people were like, season two.
They're ready.
I just did it was because it was cool, but we're still waiting to hear.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm not going to be outdone here. Seriously.
All right. We'll wait. You know what?
Getting?
On Travel Channel, we're a team of experts on the hunt for Bigfoot.
This is old legend meets modern day technology.
We have the most sophisticated mapping technology to help us pinpoint Bigfoot activity. This new algorithm is going to be key.
This is the place.
The hell have we just found?
It doesn't match any other known species.
Oh my God.
All new series Expedition Bigfoot starts Sunday, December 8th at 10 on Travel Channel and Travel Channel Go.
Also, we want to encourage you to go to @Monsterland Pod. We're on Adory, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. You can send us a message at monsterlandreport@gmail.com, and you can leave us a voicemail message, which we love. Our new monster voicemail is 401-400-0965. That's 401-400-0965 or 09ML for Monsterland. Oh my God, look what he's doing. So those of you who are listening, Russ has left the camera, but he's just put a huge framed picture of Expedition Bigfoot behind him. That's fantastic.
I will not be outdone.
No. Whose is bigger? That's the question.
Ronnie, if yours is bigger, I'm going to challenge you to a duel. I'm going to beat you up after school.
It's not the size of the frame, fellas. It's how you hang it.
I like your the matte finish you got there.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're still waiting to hear, obviously, with everything.
The thing is, I will tell you this much. I know that as far as myself, Ronnie, Bryce, Maria, Dr. Maria, even the showrunner, we would all jump at the opportunity to do a second season because it was really very, very cohesive, a lot of fun. And I know that just like any other season one, there's always talk and discussion about, hey, are we going to do a season two? How were the numbers? Where was the money? How did the audience respond to it? There's all those variables. So I know that was being discussed. And the thing is until they say we have a green light and I put my feet in the dirt in front of a camera, all I can do is be hopeful, just like Ronnie is and everybody else. We are hopeful, and I do know that they were discussing it as far as how far that's gone or where that goes from here. And look, we're all locked down. What perfect time to be out in the freaking woods doing social distancing in front of a camera.
Totally agree. Yes, absolutely. So Russ, we can quote you on that. If there is a season two, you're down for it?
I suppose. Yeah, I guess.
I'll do it as long as he's not doing it.
I got to check my schedule.
Russ Acord, American hero. Thank you for everything that you do. Thanks for getting Bob's back. Hey, Russ,
are we done?
Do you want to promote anything? Like, where can people? People go anywhere?
Is our podcast over with? Are we done?
You're done. You're out of here.
I didn't know there was a time limit. I was just getting started, man. I'm getting rallied up.
I'm sorry.
What do you want to talk about, Russ?
All right, Russ, go ahead.
I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about?
I got dinner waiting, man.
Oh, okay. I can hear the tummy growling from here.
Yeah,
So,
Yoko's up there making a feast.
So, Russ, talk your conference, which is coming up Labor Day weekend, which we're supposed to all be at. What's the status of that? Is there an update?
Okay, so just like any other state, we're in that whole lockdown situation.
Right.
The problem with the conference, and I'm really keeping a close watch on this. I'm still all systems go. I'm still hoping that everything. We're talking September, so it's a ways out there. Yeah. My question that's coming up is when they do the social distancing thing, and then when we go back to work, you want to keep a little bit of separation. I'm wondering if by September they will allow crowds to the extent that we're going to have. And I'm nervous to say they might still have that limited crowd occupancy in any one given building. And I might be running into that. You look hungry,
tough call,
Matt, you look hungry.
I told you I'm hungry. Would you
you should see him eat. I mean, you have seen him eat.
I can eat.
Like,
I can eat.
It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
Ohio.
Oh,
Yes.
I have pictures.
Breakfast, like,
that's why
this
people.
much pancake. I mean,
That's why we were stalked by Bigfoot, because they were looking for food sources. Because I was eating everything in the
I can
hotel.
still smell the pancake on you.
Yeah.
So Russ, that's a great question, Ronnie. Thank you. You should host something someday.
Yeah, maybe.
So if they did restrict numbers, is that something you might think about, or at that point would you say let's postpone until post this? Like, is there a way you could do it in that way with like smaller conference numbers on each individual segment?
If they start limiting the crowd, because you're talking 1,200 people last time I had a conference, and the numbers this year we're probably going to be about double that.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you try to do a conference and say, okay, well, I only let 100 in at the door at a time, you guys have to stay separate, I'll piss everybody off. So I think best case scenario is if we run into that obstacle, then I have to surrender to just to canceling the conference. But I hope I don't have to do that.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
That would definitely suck.
Yeah.
We are so looking forward to it. Do you want to stick around? We're going to keep going with the show. You want to stick around?
Yeah, you got to eat something, though. Let me and Ronnie talk. You go get something to eat.
I'm trying to. All right, let's move on with the show with our special guest, Russ Acord. All right, Ronnie, we're going to move along here. We have a lot. Actually, Russ, if you could you stick around for the rest of the episode?
Sure. Who you bringing on?
Nobody, just you.
We got
to go through all our shit.
I'm yours, man.
Because
all right, yes,
I miss you guys.
Screen and do all this fun stuff.
All right, so let's play. I'm going to share the screen. So our next segment, and usually it's a lot smoother than this, but we're doing from home because of the quarantine and all that. What we're going to do now is a little segment we have called. What are we going to do, Ronnie? What did I say? Factor Falcon. All right.
Well, let's see. We got Monster Media, which we'll do.
All right.
Later.
Let's do Factor Falcon because it's Bigfoot related. And so we've got, this is perfect. We'll have Russ talk about it. All right, here we go. So I'm going to share screen.
Okay.
All right.
And now blow it up this time.
You blow it up. All right. Can you see it?
No.
Can't see nothing.
Right, hold on. It's hard to host and
we're experiencing technical difficulties. Please
stand here we go. Here we go. I didn't hit share.
Do I have to? Oh, wait.
Oh, look at the puppy.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that's my dog Rocky, everybody, for who are watching the video. Rocky. So this is new, everybody. We're just starting to get into this. We are because we're doing it from home, you can listen to us, obviously, as most of you probably are, but you can also watch the video we're going to release on these, and you can watch along with us on a Zoom shared screen, which is quite a lot of fun. So I have just pulled up the Monsterland Podcast page. It's acting a little weird. Stand by.
Taking you forever.
I know.
Oh.
It's amazing. It really affects my ability to be funny and interesting when I'm trying to produce too.
I think you're in the wrong basement.
I need to be in that guy's basement. No, I don't. All right. So here we go. So Factor Falcon, Ronnie, our first. Let's see which this one was. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is two Bigfoots right on our page. They're right next to each other. So Russ, I don't know if you remember this, but we have a bit that we got called Fact or Falcon, in which we look at a piece of potential evidence. And if we think it's real, if we think there's something to it, we say it's a fact. If we think it may have been manipulated or it's just a misidentification, like maybe it's a bear or something, we say Falcon. It comes from Mark D'Antonio, who poo-pooed a video we're excited for. So this is our first one right here. I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have is a trail cam.
We're seeing everything on your screen. I don't know if you can blow that pick up anymore.
Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to try and go to, oh, there we go.
Oh.
Okay, stand by. Oh, old man and technology.
We could probably get you some help. He's pretty good.
Okay, Bigfoot caught on trail cam. What do you think? It's a creature on all fours. Looks like it's kind of climbing up a hill. It's definitely trail cam footage. It's kind of black and white, a little blurry. What are your initial thoughts?
Old to you, Russ, or is this?
Okay.
Like an older photo?
Can I tell you what I see just by initial look?
Please.
If you look at the direction it's facing, it looks like a square white salt lick up in front of the face.
Yeah.
Across, keep
Right
going,
there.
keep going.
Keep
No,
on going.
no,
keep
no,
on
keep
going.
going.
Go,
keep
go,
going,
go,
keep
go.
there.
Right there.
Is that a square salt lick?
Yep.
Okay. All right, now take your hand and cover the entire front half of that thing to where all you see is the butt and the back leg.
Butt and the back leg.
Yep.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
look at the rear of that.
Yep.
The way that leg has got that curve like a chicken thigh.
Yes. Yes.
And the bottom of it, that is not indicative of a human thigh, a human leg. So just by separating those two, I don't know what it is, but I would say that it doesn't have the long straight from hip to knee and knee to foot like we would as a straight leg. That looks more like a dog leg, a bear leg, an animal leg.
Okay, excellent.
Awesome.
I also don't like this right here.
I don't either. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
Looks
are
like
your
a
thoughts
ski
on the
mask.
head? Yeah, like is that?
It's Cookie Monster.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the slope. Bigfoot has the sloped neck, right?
Is that really just light? Can you see in the background how light the?
Yes.
It's kind of whitewashed. Is that almost like light that's kind of creating that where it almost looks like it's cutting into the the head and it's not?
No, because there's not enough there to really get an absolute on it. That is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna falcon this one because it just.
Was it considered a Bigfoot picture?
I mean, people are debating, as you can see here on the Facebook page.
It was in a Facebook group, right?
Unknown.
Bigfoot caught by trail cam, and this was just what April 4th, so a few weeks back.
Yeah, I'm gonna falcon it, Ronnie. What do you say?
I kind of like it, but I don't know. I'll say fact just for shits.
Okay, you like it? Something to it, Russ? Do you think it's possibly an animal, probably not Bigfoot?
I lean more towards animal just on the merit of the back leg only.
Okay.
If I only use that as my deciding factor.
And talk about the salt lick.
Pardon?
Talk about the salt lick. Talk to me about that? Why did you notice that?
I don't know if it's a salt lick or not, but generally, if you have a white block of salt, it draws in deer, anything that wants the salt. It'll lick the salt for the mineral. So it just seemed out of place. If you're out in the middle of nowhere with a trail cam up, generally you don't carry a heavy salt lick with you.
Right.
But without the salt lick, let's just pretend I didn't notice the white square thing.
It's amazing your eyes picked up on that right away, though. You're like, because you're looking for that stuff with the trail cam, and boom.
Yeah, that was good.
Up on that.
Can you come on every week?
I hate looking at stuff like that and finding things that I question and doubt right away. I'd rather see something and say, "Holy crap, that's great!"
Yeah,
but those two things, you know what? Now look at his butt, right at his butt. Okay.
Yeah, right there.
If you look behind, right, come up with your finger a little higher. Stop. Is that a fence post?
Maddie, can you blow up that pic? Can you
stand by?
To click on it so that it fills up your entire screen? We're seeing everything right on from your laptop. I wonder if we can.
If you look at that, if that happens to be a fence post, that's awful square white. But if that might not be, because I see branches coming off of it. I was going to say is if that was a fence post, it would give some indication of size. But you can see the branches coming off the right side of that. So it's the top of a tree or something.
Right.
But but that back leg is what has got me more leaning towards animal than Bigfoot.
All right, that's good. That's good. That was a good fact, Falcon.
Very good.
All right, let's go to our next one. Oh, by the way, that came from let's see.
I think it was unknown.
Yeah, unknown. It's unknown with 2 N's or 3 N's. Stand by. Sorry.
I like it though. There's no question. I like it.
Right. This other one I saw and I shared it, and people were like, one gentleman said, "Why do you keep on posting shit like this? Aren't you worried about your credibility?" And I was like, "What credibility are you talking about?"
Oh, look.
Maddie. Nice.
Well, we've talked about this before, Ronnie. We post, you decide.
Right.
Okay, so this is the, so that first picture came from unknown.
Yeah.
UNKNOWNNM. And then this came, this is a YouTube video. It's called Elusive Bigfoot Caught on a Remote Camera Hunting Deer. So let's take a look at this.
Now look to there's two different things. And again, if we can blow it all the way up. But
all right, let me see here. We're going to go full screen.
15 seconds.
Baby.
Okay, we're going to skip an ad here.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Skip ad. Here we go. Trail camera capable of capturing short video footage set up to gather data on wolverines in central Alberta. Captures what appears to be a tall, dark figure assumed to be the elusive Bigfoot hunting prey along the trail. That's the intro to the video. Okay. And here we go. Now, let me move you guys because I think it happens on the right side, right, Ronnie?
Yes.
Like here, Russ, is where we're looking?
Yeah, look at that dark mass in the middle, and it doesn't look like it moves.
Here we go. I'm going to hit play. So for those of you listening and not watching, we're seeing trail cam video. There's a cluster.
There's a deer. I see the deer on the tree in the center of the thing. I see his white ears still.
Okay, there's a deer.
Yeah.
Now,
then if we look here,
right, we might have to watch this again too because it's just very curious.
In a group of trees, there's a black something. It starts moving, right, Ronnie? About now.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Ronnie, I don't know. That looks so CGI to me.
Now that it's so black, right?
Now that I see, oh my God, I can see it pixelating.
And the deer is still not moving.
Yeah, look at that. I could only see it on our little small screen. When you blow it up, you can actually see things pixelating. Like,
yeah, I have it. I keep on looking off over here because I have my big TV screen that I have my computer connected to, so I'm seeing it on a bigger scale.
That's fake. I mean, unless we're seeing, the interdimensionality of the Bigfoot, and that's what it looks like because it's but no, that is like, look at that. It's pixelating. It's a
Falcon.
Falcon. 100% in my estimation. I never saw it that up close.
Yeah.
No way, man. It's real.
It's real. It's almost like the shadow person density, how dark it is.
Yeah.
And it almost just doesn't look.
Yeah, a lot of our monsters agreed, Ronnie. Video's been edited, obviously. Susan says, looks spliced in. Falcon. Donald didn't like it. Kevin says, Falcon. Do you see the deer? Craig says, come on, guys. Love the podcast. Oh, this is the guy. And love you guys. This is obviously 100% fake. The thing crossfades in and out of nowhere. Look at the weird effect around the trees. Got to give us some better stuff than this. And then we said, looks almost like a shadow person. So dark as to be unnatural. We're a bit dubious, but we report, you decide. That is a Falcon.
Right.
Yeah, the deer was absolutely unresponsive to. Generally, a deer is not going to tolerate that.
But it's good when we do these things too, because I think you need to call out the stuff that's clear. Hold on, stop. It's Sasquatch.
Dude, that is so quick.
Wow. Thank you. Speaking of credibility.
That was sponsored by Bullspit Brewing Company.
Yes. Let's do another segment. Let's do another segment. A little something we like to call
Time for this week's Parapost.
Parapost, Russ. This is when we look at the world of social media in the paranormal. We find interesting things that have been posted. Now, we did an episode before.
Keep going. I'll be right back. I just got to get a refill.
Oh, boy.
My God. He's just a man of many
I can
noises.
still hear you.
My partner has a drinking problem, Russ. His problem is he doesn't have another drink in front of him.
Will that Bluetooth pick up everything he says and does? Because if he goes in and takes the whiz, we're going to hear it.
You know what's really funny is that after he gets back, I'm going to go get a drink.
Our sponsor is Green Goodness.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
It's
nice.
delicious.
I'll let you guys discuss this, actually. So, Ronnie, Russ, you wouldn't know this, but we did an episode some time ago about the artist. We called it the artist-alien connection, but really it was about artists and anything paranormal. It just had the nice alliteration to call it the artist-alien connection. And we focused especially on how, you know, it seems to be so much that musicians especially have had these UFO encounters, strange paranormal things about their lives. You know, everything from Elvis to John Lennon had a UFO experience, on and on and on. And we talked about that. So there's been a bunch of UFO sightings recently.
Right.
Since we've been in quarantine, it keeps happening. And we don't know if it's because people are looking up more because they're home, or if they're maybe watching us because they see that things have shut down.
Air's cleaner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the air's been great.
This comes from Loudwire. Rockers react to bizarre UFO sightings in Arizona and California. Several rockers have reported bizarre UFO sightings last night. This is April 15th in Arizona and Southern California. Asking Alexander's Ben Bruce, Dorothy, from First to Last, Matt Good, and others have taken to Twitter to discuss what they saw. And their replies to their tweets confirm that many people also witnessed similar phenomena. So it's not just like rock stars seeing this. A bunch of people saw these things. And we have video in a second that we'll get to. Bruce said he saw a lot of UFOs flying in a straight line, spaced evenly apart from each other, reappearing from the same location. Dorothy, who lives near San Diego, explained they weren't flashing, moved fast, and didn't make any sounds the way an airplane would. And a bunch of people, you know, got on social media and agreed with them. Ben Bruce, his tweet said, "I just saw so many UFOs flying in a line, consistent, evenly spaced, appearing in the same spot over and over again. Anyone else see this shit?"
Yeah.
So that led to this news report here. This is what they saw, basically. Like, see that? There's a line of lights in the sky, clearly in formation, and a bunch of people saw these things on Wednesday night. This is Fox 10 local affiliate with this report. 17 lights just flew over the valley, up in the atmosphere from southwest to northeast across the sky. Please tell me these are the good guys. And then some people said, I just saw about 20 satellites, end quote, but a lot of people were saying those don't look like satellites and they're not acting like satellites.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the immediate response has been it's Elon Musk, his Starlink satellite system, which is a bunch of satellites that evenly spaced together, like connected in a way, moving together. But there's been other sightings of these orb or balls of light that don't have that perfect pattern, that are kind of spread out, and there seems to be 20, 30 of these objects. So some of these are a little bit different than the Starlink ones. But
didn't you guys post one just the other night where there was, it looked like a row of 4 of them?
yeah, there was
Yes.
3.
let's see if I can find it.
And I was looking at that again, and I feel like I see something towards the end of the video that makes me think that there's something
Let's go to that.
man-made. But it was like
Not this.
it was like
Weird.
three lights, right?
Man-made.
Like kind of orangey kind of glow.
Not that. This? No. Another mass UFO sighting in Cleveland, Ohio. We talked about that one. That's
see.
Cleveland, Detroit. I don't know where that
That's-
went, Ronnie, but we'll
That's a ball.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll
find
look
that.
right now.
yeah, see if you can find that. Russ, you are skeptical even with the Bigfoot thing. So where do you stand with kind of anomalous lights and UFOs? Have you ever had an experience? You spent a lot of time out in the woods alone, doing your hunting thing and all that, tracking. Have you ever had any weird light anomalies or anything like that?
No, what I actually had happen to me was in broad daylight, and it was when I was a kid. My sister and I watched something cruise across the sky that was just highly unnatural, and it was these 3 orbs that kind of rolled around each other, and they were on the opposite hillsides, quite a few miles away.
Oh my God!
And they dropped down and almost touched the ground, and then they just shot out across the sky, like they had been shot by a bow. It was just ridiculous.
Wow.
I've never heard that story, Russ.
I didn't know. What did you make of that at the time, Russ?
It made my sister upset. I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. Wonder what that was. But my sister was just deeply distressed by it. And I thought, if you think that we're the only things in this entire universe with the means to have intellect, a way to move, a way to fly, a way to communicate, then you're naive. We cannot be the only thing with a brain capacity in the entire existence of everything. So,
so you're open to it?
Yeah,
Russ?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting.
What color were those, Russ? Do you remember
I think they were gray, silvery. You know what? I think more gray, kind of silver,
like a metallic
reflective,
kind
but
of,
yeah,
really,
yeah. But when I very first saw it, I thought they were much closer. I thought it was maybe 100 yards away, and they were 3 balloons tied together, because that's how they kind of moved around each other.
Wow.
And then when they came down closer to the ground, but the problem was when they came down closer to the ground, that's when I was able to tell that they were much further away than just 100 yards or so. They were way the heck out there.
They had to be pretty big with that.
Yep, on the other side of the valley floor, and this was in Montana. And they came all the way down to where they literally looked like they touched the ground. Wow. And as soon as they touched, they just shot off in a direct line and faded into they just disappeared, all within just seconds.
That's amazing.
It was just weird.
You say your sister was upset. Talk more about that. Like, did she feel something?
No, I was raised in a very, very religious family.
Yeah.
And my sister wasn't ready to believe that there was anything besides God, Adam, and Eve, and us.
Got it.
So
more traditionalist. Yeah. Right.
Me, I don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ronnie, I want to look at this video real quick.
Yeah.
As our second para post. This was posted. Space Source posted. They post a lot of UFO videos. Some are, I scrolling through their feeds. Some are, pretty ridiculous falcons, like, obviously. Others are pretty good. They post it all, kind of like you. They just willy-nilly, no research, just post it. So I want to look at this. This is supposedly from
ISS,
the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Russ, this is a cool video. Watch this, and we'll listen to what our monsters say about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's moving fast. 2 objects.
Now it seems to come up and check out the International Space Station.
The audio is interesting too if you listen. Two silver round objects coming up to the ISS. They can't quite get focus on them, Ronnie. And you can hear the chatter. Now, go ahead, Ronnie. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm just recollecting here, because I think initially when I first saw this video, there was only one.
You scrolled out of the hole. There we go.
and now there's 2, and that may be the case, but I'm wondering if this has been.
I mean, it's cool. It's exciting anytime you have like NASA ISS type videos, but to me, again, it just seems a little CGI-ish to me. They can never quite focus in on them. Like, you'd think an ISS camera would be able to rack focus a little bit better than that. Aaron, Superfan, says, I've seen this one a couple of years ago. The audio doesn't seem to make sense with the video. Sounds like a bunch of different sound clips edited into one, which is exactly my thought when I was listening to it.
Yeah.
It sounded like someone took real clips of people saying we have an unidentified object and slapped them together, because there's male voices, female voices. They sound different. It's not one consistent mission control voice to someone in the ISS. It just sounds weird. No focus on it. So Aaron says Falcon. Even though this is a parapost, I'm going to say Falcon on that one too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's a cool video. People are so creative with what they can do.
Well,
I don't know why they
we're
do
just
it.
seeing, it's like the theme, right, of tonight. It's like they're repurposing videos, repurposing stories to fit their narrative with the whole massacre bullcrap. I mean, come on.
Yes. So let's keep moving along. I want to do a little monster media, Ronnie. This is when we look at things, Russ, that are in the media that are paranormal related.
Right.
And producer Dave, our producer, who is not with us right now, he had another thing to do. Although he's monitoring, which is kind of creepy. Big Brother's watching.
Yeah.
He's going to jump in any second now.
He wanted to follow up on a couple of weeks ago. We had the producers of the new show, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yep.
What do you know about Skinwalker, Russ? Are you familiar with it?
Yeah. Yes, a little bit.
And thoughts? Think there might be something to it, or is not interested?
No. I'm very interested in it.
No, Derek!
I think there's a lot more to it than just what we visibly see with our eyes. I work in the nuclear industry, and when you have things that are going off the charts as far as contamination, radiation levels, there's more in the soil and more in the air and in the area than we're given credit to as well. And I've been talking to Ryan Skinner, who is actually an integral part of that, and we've had some conversations a bit about it. And
he wrote the book Hunt for Skinwalker, right?
what was it?
Well, The Hunt for Skinwalker, isn't that what he wrote? Or am I thinking somebody else?
It might be. We didn't, sadly, as much as I've talked to him, I've never discussed his book. What a loser am I, huh? Don't talk to the guy about his book. But thanks, guys, for asking me about my books.
You're writing the new one, aren't you?
I am. Anyway, less about me, more about Skinwalker. I'm working on the third one, yes. The Skinwalker, has been highly protected, and then the previous owner, I understand that there was some conflict with him, people thinking that he was over exaggerating a lot of the things. But then after speaking with Ryan, there was a lot more to it than just when you get into the molecular level and radiation and things that can produce energy or light or damage. It's a whole new level, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a UFO related. So I'm torn with that whole activity going on at Skinwalker Ranch, because either it is
the show, yeah,
either it is completely UFO and extraterrestrial related, or you're close enough to a testing site of military or nuclear or radiation projects that you're going to get anomalies. Well, how did that sound? I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know if it's
I got it. I got it. You're right. And that's what we're really excited about this show. We had the producers on a couple weeks ago, and they're doing exactly what you're talking about, Russ. A really good job of, because we couldn't see what Bigelow was doing. That was all top secret.
Right.
And everything that Bigelow did, right, was either hidden or made classified. So we don't really know what the results were and what they're willing to share. So this new show, we're actually seeing them do it, which is insane, and they got some really, last night, as we record this, it was last night. They got some really good UFO footage. They had 2 sightings of a UFO. So what they were doing, and to your point, Russ, they're actually going through the science. So they're exposing the fact that there is some sort of anomaly, and it seems to be coming from above the ranch. So the scientists, and I don't know if you knew this, but I'm not a scientist. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But they're showing that these elevated levels of some of these gamma rays and some other dangerous things are becoming less active closer to the ground, and then spiking as you get up into the atmosphere. So they believe that and they even triangulated it. So they've almost found a spot, like a pinpoint above the ranch that seems to be putting off bad things, if you will. So they were shooting rockets to try to test this, to really nail this down. And while they're shooting shit into the sky, they see a UFO. The whole team sees it. And it's really an amazing scene, because they even have like an intern from the local college who works with one of the stars of the show. And you can hear her, and she's very scientific. She's a into rocketry. And she's an expert in rockets and she's helping them launch these things. And you hear her going like, whoa, wow, wow, wow. Like she doesn't know what it is. So here they are. I want to play this moment of them seeing the UFO. This is really compelling, I think. Right there.
What is that silver object?
This is the second. So it appears to all of them twice, and it appears out of nowhere. It's a round, almost silver metallic ball type of thing. And they said the video, of course, doesn't do it any justice.
Right, because
it materializes out of it materializes out of nowhere, and then they count it off like 1, 2, 3, and then it disappears, like dematerializes, and it happens twice. So it wasn't like something flying by. The scientist on the team runs in and checks the air traffic in the area. There was a plane which they matched with the air traffic, but there was nothing else, just that one plane. So this is by definition an unidentified object.
Well, it's interesting too that it's seen as being metallic and gray, and we're seeing it as white. But that's also what Russ saw when him and his sister.
It's almost like we planned it, Russ, but we didn't.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show.
I mean, I think it's really cool because, you've got this show and they're being so scientific. They're doing all these scientific experiments, and you have a bunch of people. Some, no doubt, work at the ranch and believe in this thing, and they've been physically affected by it. But there's a couple others on the team who have no, dog in this race. They're just there to try to do science experiments and find out if there is something to that. And they all saw this thing materialize, and they saw it dematerialize. It's really quite compelling video, I think. I mean, what the hell could it be? And then the new owner talks about his experience, and he's got a great picture of what he saw. Ready? Watch this. This is another good UFO picture. Stand by.
That I could not deny. It was a couple of years ago, right above the mesa. We saw broad daylight.
Look at that.
Could only be described as a UFO. 40, 50 foot long, silver grayish disc-like craft that moved in the blink of an eye from one position to the other, and then within 20 seconds was completely gone.
And that is very similar to what this team just experienced at Skinwalker. So I think the show is awesome. I think that was really compelling UFO footage.
Yeah, they look similar, almost like they're made of light as opposed to being something material when you see them like that.
Russ, what are your thoughts? Does that look familiar to your experience at all?
Yeah, the silver, the two things that approached the Falcon earlier, at their quick approach, and then they kind of trying to get a focus on it. That was very similar. It's just that kind of reflective round orb or ball, if you want to call it that. And then just the way it kind of almost touched and then shot out of sight was just, that was, if it would have just kind of kept going and hit the soil and disappeared, fine. It's so far away, I would have just thought, okay, they're balloons and they popped.
Right.
They shot off to the left was really, really wild.
And Ronnie, go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's very unique too, where you're seeing three objects almost connected, moving together in a wheel, which is a biblical reference to a lot of UFOs, a wheel within a wheel, kind of. So that's interesting.
Yeah, there wasn't any pattern to it. It was just kind of weirdly dancing around each other and gone.
And Ronnie and I say it all the time on this podcast, like you can't also account for the person's experience, their feeling about it. And your sister clearly had some, you know what I mean? So, and those people, I wish I had another clip of them actually seeing it, because you can hear them, all going like, whoa, whoa. As a matter of fact, let me just search for it. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I would like to find that particular clip.
So, hey, Ronnie, where'd you get that poster, man?
This one?
Yes, that's sweet.
Travel Channel.
Tell us a story that none of us saw. Tell us a behind the scenes that you can without getting in trouble. I want Expedition Bigfoot dirt, like something that we didn't see that's funny or fun or behind the scenes. Give us a little access. Go.
You want to talk about the bear spray?
Talk about the bear spray. Oh my God. This is This is good.
All right. Do you want me to?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So I've got my camera guy. I can't imagine a better camera guy for me. I mean, this guy is Army trained, just tough, great camera guy. But we're cruising through the forest, and I kept smelling the smell of mountain lions.
Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
So when you're smelling mountain lion all the time and you keep traveling for miles at a time and you still smelling mountain lion, then you know that they're circling you. They're close. So I take my bear spray out of my off my backpack, because I figure if something happens, you can always get your backpack off, get your bear spray, and deploy it if something gets close. Well, we were getting into some thick stuff, so I knew I had to have it available. So I'll put it on the front of my belt with my backpack, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna, I don't even have to take out my backpack. I just reach down and grab it, and spray it. So we got several miles of this, and then we finally got to a road and got a four-wheeler. It's a side-by-side with 4 seats on it, or only 2 seats on it, and it's got that little box in the back where you can climb in the back. It looks like a little baby pickup truck, and it's got a roll cage around it. So the guy driving brings the medic with him, and the guy that brought the Jeep brought a medic with him. Okay, so the Jeep driver, the medic, and my camera guy all get in the front seat of this four-wheeler. And me, I think, okay, I'll just climb in the back. This is where I want to be. So I take out my backpack, throw it in, and I grab hold of the rail above me, and I pick up my feet, and I swing myself in to sit down, and I'm facing the front just like the rest of them. So think about what happens to the body when you do that. Your knees come up, and your big fat belly compresses into whatever might be hooked on the front of your belt. And I sprayed all 3 of these guys in the back of the head with my pepper spray, this four-wheeler. I become the least popular guy on site in a heartbeat.
Oh my God.
Oh, funny.
That's amazing. How were you? Was it the beginning? Like, how far into the shoot were you?
Oh, it was a week or so in. It was just one of those things where, and the problem with that is what spray didn't get out filled my front pocket. So think about that.
Oh.
Yeah. We couldn't get to the water fast enough, and the water doesn't help.
A lot of screaming.
A lot of bad words, actually.
Yeah.
I have some of it on film, but I'm not allowed to show it.
I love it. That's what I came here for. That type of insider access. I love it. Well, we do have to go because we have a hard 8 out. That's it.
Oh, we do.
We will continue to try to bring you these episodes from home. Everybody's in a different place. It's not the usual smooth Monsterland experience, but we are trying our best. The Patreon page is being almost ready to launch, right, Ronnie? We're very close.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at your smooth comment because I don't think any episode's ever been smooth.
Hello.
Guys, I want to tell you thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate being brought in on the second half of it. Very interesting stuff. A lot of fun.
We love it, Russ. You're awesome, man. And thank you for setting the record straight and doing what you do. And everybody pray that we get on the other side of this thing and that we can be at your conference and all hugging and at a bonfire and doing what we do, talking Bigfoot and being a brotherhood and a sisterhood.
That'd be great.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys shut out. I'm gonna leave the meeting here. Take care, guys.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Russ.
Later.
See ya.
Well, Ronnie, another Monsterland, a little different.
That was fun.
I'm not good at producing and hosting, but I think we did all right.
You did. You're amazing. You're a multitasker.
It's hard, man.
You're awesome.
I don't like pressing buttons. That's my former producer used to say. We had one or two leftover monster voicemails. Let's save those for next time.
Okay.
I think we're going to do a little more Bigfoot coming up. Are we going to do what we've been promising for a very long time? And no, I'm not talking about Ronnie's ectoplasm. I'm talking about, although
yes.
that's coming. That's coming.
Yes.
Ooh, let me rephrase. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Yes, I think we need to set that up. I'm working on another interview too.
Okay.
All kind of Bigfoot focused the next
Okay.
guests. So we're trying to get that locked up.
If you're a monster who's been with us for a while, or you've binged, you remember our Ohio incident when we got what we believe stalked by a couple of Bigfoot. I only saw the one strange anomaly and felt the one, but they felt Bigfoot on either side of us. Then we played audio of that night.
And they also had a visual of something coming out of the woods that
correct.
Dr. Foster drew, which...
Oh, really? She drew it?
Yes.
Did I ever see that drawing?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Holy shit. All right. So we're with Dr. Foster and Jeff Byers. We want to have them both on in this format, so we can play that audio again, talk about it, and then see what they've been up to. I think Jeff alluded to having some more hot spots that he has and wants to tell us about. So that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Anything you want to say as we part?
No, it was great to get Russ on.
You give the final word on the whole Bob Gimlin thing. You wrap it up.
Well, yeah, I think that it's just interesting where this came out of, and I've heard rumors that this has been talked about before, that it's kind of been brought up again. But when you're talking with someone that actually has the footage and actually sees that there's been manipulation, and people just are quick to jump on the bandwagon of this happened without any type of digging into it and evidence it's a bit depressing, because we had a chance to actually meet Bob, and the guy has a heart of gold. He's amazing, and once you start talking to him, you just can tell the fabric of his being is not one to be hoaxing or anything like that, but also this whole massacre crap is just is beyond. I can't even. I laughed at how quickly it spread, though. But what concerns me is how it's affected Bob, and how it may have pushed him to the point where he's not going to do any events or conferences anymore.
This is why we can't have nice things, people.
Right. So, pretty sad.
You know what it reminds me? Hey, producer Dave just chimed on. We're done, buddy. So we got a hard 8 out.
He's kicking us out.
I just wanted to say.
No, actually, I'm not. You guys can go for a little longer if you want. My thing got pushed off until.
No, we're good. We're good. Okay. I just want to say one thing on what Ronnie said about, like we can't have nice things, and these people, as these are Russ's words, in basements. Because hey, I got nothing against people in basements. But I'm in a basement. If you're not watching.
Same.
Griff.
But I you know what it reminds me of, Ronnie? I keep thinking of this old Saturday Night Live bit when,
it's my son Griffin. Griffin. Maddie and Ronnie, the original monsters.
Handsome lad. Handsome lad.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Where'd he get it from? Obviously, the mom.
Mom. Clearly, mom.
It reminds me of an old SNL bit. Producer Dave, you'll remember this, I bet. It was when William Shatner, Captain Kirk, went to a Star Trek convention.
Oh yeah,
and he was the keynote speaker. And he gets up and he's like, "I know many of you have come from so far away, and you're huge fans of the show. I just want to say one thing to you here today: get a life, will you, people? You've turned something I did as a lark for a few years into a colossal waste of time.
Colossal waste of time.
Yeah, have you ever kissed a girl? I didn't think so." As Russ was talking about these people who have made up this Bigfoot massacre, that's all I could think of. Like, what are you doing? The Patterson-Gimlin film is, come on, man. Oh, I think that should do it. I think that should.
Before I answer any more questions, there's something I wanted to say. Having received all your letters over the years, and I've spoken to many of you, and some of you have traveled, hundreds of miles. I'd just like to say, get a life, will you, people? I mean, for crying out loud, it's just a TV show. I mean, look at you. Look at the way you're dressed. You've turned an enjoyable little job that I did as a lark for a few years into a colossal waste of time. I mean, how old are you people? What have you done with yourselves? You must be almost 30. Have you ever kissed a girl?
There it is. Fantastic. All right. For producer Dave, for my partner, friend Ronnie LeBlanc, next time, stay monstrous, everybody. Stay safe. We love you.
See ya. Love ya.